Coming up, women are more likely to engage in risky sexual behaviors with more attractive partners. That's what we're going to talk about right now here on Depraved and Debaucherous. Thanks for being with me. I'm King of Podcasts. So, side posts, of course, it's my go-to site when some of these issues like this, all the studies come out, they talk about it, and it gives me a chance to talk about these certain issues so that all you guys and girls out there, especially you younger than me, learn from what I learned from my own experience and my own expertise so that I can pass it along, because I want healthy relationships for all of you, and to make it so that you don't have to go through the same mistakes that I might have gone through, or that I have known of the women that I have gotten the chance to date, or that I've gotten the chance to know. So anyway, the story here says that women report a greater tendency to engage in risky sexual behaviors with more attractive partners, and when they use their own sexuality as a means of mate retention. This is from the Evolutionary Psychological Science Journal, and they talk about parental investment theories that posits that women are much more discriminating in sex, selecting mates given they invest more in offspring, and the minimum parental investment for men could just be successful copulation. What are they saying right there? So women are going to discriminate on who they're going to have sex with because of who they want to make sure they have a kid with, and what kind of investment they're going to get in terms of financial, emotional support. They're going to consider all those things. Guys just want to get laid. We all know that, but the study now just, it verifies it, it validates it. Women's mate preferences differ for long and short-term partners. So here's the point. If you're going to have a girl that wants to be in a long-term relationship, she wants to be with a man who exhibits resource acquisition potential, and men want positive traits such as maturity and kindness. So if you want a wife or a long-term girlfriend or boyfriend or long-term partner, you want somebody then that, for a guy, he can support, he can provide, and he can protect, right? And for women, or for men, they just want someone who's mature, who's sweet, who's kind, and attractive on top of that. In the short term, women have a stronger preference for indicators of good genes, such as physical attractiveness, masculinity, intelligence, dominance, and they signal genetic quality that could provide offspring with survival advantages. So in case they just want to go ahead and shack up and they end up, getting together with a guy that they end up having a kid with, in the case that somebody doesn't protect themselves, where a guy doesn't wear a condom or the woman is not using birth control, then if a woman is looking to have a baby out of wedlock, or just, accidentally has a kid, at least they want to make sure that the guy is attractive, is masculine, smart, and a dominant type of guy. So an alpha male, basically. That's according to the study. That's not me saying it. That's what the study says. Well, I'm just, defining it as such, but you get what I'm saying. And some studies have said that in the late follicular phase, oh my God, that's a Scrabble word, of the menstrual cycle, when a woman is fertile, women experience an increase in their preference of putative cues of immunocompetence for short-term relationships. So women report stronger preferences for men who are masculine and symmetrical, and are more attracted to dominance once they're ovulating. So they want a guy who's forceful when they're at the point where they're at the best time to be, taken, for a guy to go and come hither and take her for themselves, right? And the researchers here, they said that women, quote, are more sexually motivated and active when conception is more likely. Well, we've known about that because it was always like, we want to have a baby. Well, we got to know the right time to have it. You got to know those cycles. You got to know how that works out. The timing is everything. Sexual risk-taking is a common phenomenon, with women reporting greater willingness to risk pregnancy with physically attractive men, and men who show commitment, good financial prospects, as well as moderate to high social status. The women have so much to ask for. And it's not as if we have guys that are not, able to go and be this, but it's perception for women. I believe that. But when they talk about attractiveness, that's important for a woman, short-term and long-term anyway. And the masculine traits, the dominant traits that a guy might have would also be attractive to them, not just the visual. but in the short-term, visual is very important. Physically attractive. So I guess that's going to be six-pack and abs and this and that. But it's trying to put all that together. But I also believe that some women are going to just have that kind of feel anyway, because it's just, I mean, that's just when they're looking at a guy, they want it to be like some hunk. They want it to be some six-pack ab kind of guy, and that's it. And I believe that's true. And I believe that any woman wants to have a guy that's going to be like the ideal looking guy without really much anything else behind him. Because they're not talking much about, when they write here, they're not saying anything much about, okay, they see intelligent for short term. So, but the thing is that the guy is already having sex with her right away, and they're not worried about if a kid might come of it. How intelligent is the guy? To me, I want a guy to make sure that he is, unless he doesn't care, if he does have a kid with her, then that's one thing. But if he is not protecting himself because of the risks, not just because of the fact that if he has a kid, it's going to be with her and it's a short-term thing and he doesn't want to spend any more time with her, that's one thing. But what about the implications that we all know the guys are going to have if you're going to be lacking responsibility to stand up and be there for the child? Like you're going to do like Maury Povich, you're going to be there. You are the father and you're going to just abandon. Well, it's not good. So you just got to keep in mind here what you're doing. You just can't just go ahead and screw around without knowing the risk of pregnancy, because women will subconsciously, in some cases, I really believe that some women subconsciously, they could look at, in some cases, they want to go and get pregnant just to get, for the sake of getting pregnant, or to hold on to a guy. Because remember, that's that whole mentality of like it is a stereotype, but some of that's not that far away, where some women will hold on to a guy that they find is attractive, that's smart, that is dominant, and has all the traits they want. And we know there's a lot of toxic relationships where there are women younger, right? And these participants of this stage, by the way, they show that the median age is 20.7 years old. Average relationship length was 25 months. So keep this in mind. If women are getting into this and they want to hold on to a guy, and it doesn't matter if the guy is narcissistic or abusive or what, but if they feel like a relationship can continue and they can hold on to a guy that they are really interested in, no matter how toxic or abusive or how not a good thing to have, not somebody that should be around, that's just mentally, physically, and emotionally damaging to them. This is the thought process of where some women will go ahead and get pregnant on purpose, not on purpose of the fact that, there might be some girls that might do the thing where they might, poke holes in the condom. We've heard that before, but I'm not going to get into that part. I'm just going to say that if a woman legitimately wants to go and hold on to a relationship that is starting to go downhill, and it's going downhill for a reason, but thinking they're going to salvage a relationship by getting pregnant so that the man's still going to be there, in some way, shape, or form, or maybe this is her way of being able to go ahead and sustain the relationship and hold on to the guy, no matter how bad he is for her. But some women don't think this. And I'm telling you, when you're at 20 years old, some women don't think about this, because they will think about, they want a particular guy with a particular set of skills and traits. And especially when a woman is not, not financially secure, and she's worried about getting together with a guy and just saying, listen, I can't take care of my bills. I can't take care of this and that. I got student loans, whatever it might be, or just working some meaningless dead end job and just trying to go and make ends meet. And knowing there's that option where some women might feel like, oh yeah, maybe we could just hold on to this guy and maybe pregnancy will be the thing. But if they're thinking about it and they are ovulating, or they are feeling, they're in that part of that menstrual cycle, as he said, the late follicular phase, then that's something that's got to be considered. Guys need to be watching out for this. If they're with a girl and knowing that at any time, the risks of having sex, that you might get a girl pregnant. That's always been my thing. And that should be more cognizant of guys out there in the first place. Sure. Oh, it doesn't feel so good with it on. Yeah, I know that. but you have to take the risks in point. You don't want to be doing things for guys and girls on both sides. This is where you take the risk that's going to affect your life forever. Because if you decide to go and get pregnant with a guy and you have his child, or she has your child, then I mean, the love is gone, but then the hurt continues on. You don't want that to be a part of your life. You want to be able to say, listen, if things don't work out, break free and have the ability and the know-how to go and say, listen, this is not good for me. It's not healthy for me. I need to get out. So keep that in mind. I think it's very important here. So anyway, just protect yourselves. Be safe. And by safe, if you're not looking to go ahead and continue a relationship, and it's going to be short term, by the way, for guys, make it sure it's short term. Shore up things on your end so that it never becomes something where you're going to be held up, where you're going to be part of a kid's life that you don't want to be a part of initially in the first place. You might grow to love that child, but when you first got with that mate, that wasn't the plan. So just keep that in mind. If you think I'm wrong, hey, please feel free to go comment to me right here on the YouTube feed, or hit my email address, kingofpodcasts@yahoo.com. And I'll feel free to go ahead and respond back to what you say on a next video or a next broadcast. So I hope to hear from you. And just remember that we are all very sexual and we're a little depraved and debaucherous.